Thursday, September 23rd edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Autumn has officially arrived, but you are not going to be able to tell that at all by the way it feels outside over the next couple of days. But we do have a major pattern change on the way. Next week is going to be a significantly cooler and significantly wetter week overall, and maybe some tropical issues, at least tropical moisture getting involved, and a lot to talk about. So let's kind of get right into it. First of all, yesterday we did indeed have some showers and storms make it down into the Piedmont with that little instability axis I was discussing with you on yesterday's video, and actually some pockets of locally heavy rain. Parts of Stokes County up near the Virginia border got over an inch of rain, and even maybe a couple of localized communities over 2 inches, and pretty good lightning with some of the thunderstorms around late in the afternoon and early in the evening yesterday. Some hail reports in the mountains of North Carolina, especially the western parts of North Carolina, the western mountains rather, and then up into the Virginias and parts of southern New England. Pretty good round of severe weather yesterday. All is quiet this morning, and I think generally speaking the next couple of days will be dry. I'll show you that in just a moment. Temperature-wise, a couple of hot days coming up for us here across the southeast. In fact, a sliver of 75-degree plus temperatures up through the plain states ahead of a front. Front's right about there. Behind the front, significantly cooler air waiting in the wings. That's going to be diving southeastward as we get into the coming weekend. Here's the upper air chart today. The ridge still there, although it's a fairly flat ridge across the southeast. But what's going to happen here as we go ahead in time is that ridge will continue to collapse, and here's how we look by Sunday, the middle of the day. Big upper level low diving southward that is going to be a very slow mover. This is Tuesday morning, and the low is still parked over the Tennessee Valley, and that's going to be tapping some tropical moisture, so a wetter period coming up. Here is the 5-day total QPF from the HPC, and certainly looking like a wetter pattern overall, and again, this only runs through 0Z on Tuesday. We'll pick up some pretty significant rain still possibly after that point here in our region. So overall, the southeast entering a much wetter pattern beginning later this weekend and continuing into next week. Let's take it day by day, and I'll just show you the GFS. Can't rule out an isolated shower or storm in the Sandhills or maybe the southern Piedmont today, but I think that chance is very limited. Generally speaking, a hot and dry day, highs up into the 90s. And same deal tomorrow, although tomorrow probably a degree or two cooler, but still quite hot. Low 90s for highs tomorrow. There comes the front, diving through the plain states. The front actually slides in Saturday. Late in the day Saturday, could be a few thunderstorms. The chances really begin to ramp up, though, as we get into Sunday, and we'll have one of our cold air damming scenarios setting up, pretty well defined. Sunday, the temperature is a bit of a question mark. It all depends on how much moisture overruns that wedge. But I'll mention a lot of cloud cover Sunday, the chance of some showers and some thunderstorms, and then probably Monday, it looks pretty wet. It looks like, especially on the European model, we'll have that upper level low parked off to our west, and that's going to tap some of this tropical moisture that overruns the wedge. So it looks like a much cooler, rainy type of day for many of us on Monday. And Tuesday, still lots of clouds, still good shower and thunderstorm chances. And then thereafter, really all kind of depends on what happens with the potential tropical development in the Caribbean. So let's get into the tropics here. Lisa's weakened. It's a tropical depression. I'm not really going to spend any time on Lisa. It looks to stay out in the eastern Atlantic and not be a huge problem. The Caribbean, though, and again, I'm cutting this video Thursday morning. At that point in time, this was still a fairly disorganized conglomeration of showers and storms across the Caribbean Sea. However, a lot of the modeling still insisted that this is going to develop into an organized and classified tropical system. There's the tracks from the computer modeling, generally a west-northwest track the next couple of days, but either the actual system or at least some of its moisture looks to get drawn up northward as we get into the early next week time frame. In terms of intensity, some of the modeling really ramps this thing up, and I think that the more intense models are overdone because of the disorganized nature right now of the system. But some of this modeling ramps this up to a major hurricane. That's probably a little bit overdone, but certainly some organization is possible down there. Let me show you just the GFS, what it eventually does with this. This is a look at Thursday evening, and it has the center of that tropical system over the Florida Panhandle. It then lifts north into Georgia and dumps really tons of rain on the Carolinas as we get into Friday of next week. That's just one select model, though, but the general idea here is that that system in the Caribbean could congeal into an organized system, and if it does, it'll get drawn northward most likely later on next week. At I guess minimum, some of the moisture from the Caribbean will get pulled up our way, but it's possible we could see an organized tropical system get lifted up toward the southeastern U.S. Still far more questions than answers, though, with how intense that possible system might be and exactly where it might wind up heading. But interesting times. So cooler, wetter conditions next week. I think that's a welcome change, even though it might be kind of a cloudy, gray week with good shower and storm chances overall. We kind of need that kind of week, so I don't think many folks will complain about that. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. The next edition of the video will be Tuesday morning of next week, so everyone have a great weekend, and God bless.